What effect does poetry have on a person's life? Like, why read poetry? If I read poetry, what can poetry do for me? Right, and so I just want to share with you an experience that I had with not necessarily poetry, but with literature as a whole, and something that I see that poetry can do for an individual often, regularly, now in life, today. It can do it today in life. One day, I met this one young person when I was really young. I was probably like 19 years old. I met this person, and this person was going to church. And I asked this person if I could go to church with them. So we set up a time where I would go to church with them. And this was probably like on a Tuesday or Wednesday, and then on a few days go by, and Sunday finally hits, and we were supposed to go together, and this person was unable to make it, so I had a decision to make, and I decided to go to church anyway. And so I hadn't been in a church setting for some time, and so I made my way up to the balcony, just so I was out of sight, out of mind. I didn't want to really interact with anyone. And so I got there, and when I was there, the pastor, the preacher, got up and began to speak about something, and I can't really remember exactly what it was. It probably maybe the life of Jesus out of the Gospels or something. And I just recall that at some point my heart was melted, and I began to weep. And at that time, I would have called it a conversion experience. Now, I don't really know what a conversion experience is exactly. I think that I would just now call it just a purification of my heart. I think a purification of my heart happened, and I think because it was happening. Yeah, I think that there was a spiritual component to it, but I think that it was happening because some people have their heart purified by text, by literature. And I think that that's what literature can do. I think that's what poetry in particular can do. Poetry can cause for you, for me, to have a purification of our heart. Right? Our hearts can be purified with poetry. Right? All we need is a little bit of poetry in our life, and our lives can be much different. Now, when I say purification, I mean the opposite of evil. Right? I think there is a goodness that you can wash your heart with, away from the badness of life, and you can embrace the goodness of who you are as in your personhood. That goodness that is true and available to every human being. It is in our shared experience that we can be either good or evil. And I think that one thing that helps us to purify our lives, so that we can live a life of goodness, is in part the reading of literature, and particularly poetry. And there was a text that I read today, a text by Robert Frost. I'll link that text in the comments. I'll pin it in the comments, top of the comments. And that text at the very end, that the speaker is coming back from a sort of a trip where that speaker is coming into their own. Right, coming into your own is the name of the poem, and so that speaker went on a trip where they went off into this wilderness, into this kind of dreary or gloomy place, and they come back, and though they were recognizable in terms of their person, they were really unrecognizable in terms of what they felt and how they thought. They began to embrace their own truth because they went their own path and came back and embraced their own truth. And that's exactly what I can tell you that literature can do for you, is that it causes you as an individual to go away and come back, go away into the text and come back from that text looking like the same person but not acting and feeling like the same person. A purification has taken place because the poetry has helped it to take place. The literature has helped the purification to take place. That's what I think can happen for you when you read literature. That's all I got for this one. What I would like to invite you to do is take a look at my playlists. I've got two playlists that I want to invite you into. A Nikki Giovanni playlist where it's plenty of beautiful poetry there that I analyze, I dissect, and then also I'm just starting a playlist with Robert Frost. So go ahead and take a look at Robert Frost. Tomorrow I'd like to begin a series on Langston Hughes poetry, his poetry that he wrote between 1921 to 1930. And so I'd like to have two simultaneous series going on together, one with Robert Frost, one with Langston Hughes, and try to see the interaction and the interplay of some of the ideas, or the distinctions between the ideas, or no connection at all. But just run those two series side by side and see where it goes. I appreciate you sticking around, and I hope that you were able to savor your own humanity through the listening of this particular talk. I'll see you on the next one.